Welcome, welcome, and welcome. This is Raw and Unfiltered Unleashed with Malcolm Nance, who is back from one of his trips. I have Lev Parnas and myself here. I cannot even begin to tell. I don't even know where to start. It's like, do you remember, Malcolm, once you and I were talking on my Mea Culpa podcast? And Lev, I got to get you back too. But we were talking on my Mea Culpa podcast, and I said, understand how Trump is going to run 2.0, the second administration. Every day is going to be a fire hose of chaos. Every day is going to be another, not one issue, not two issues, but a half a dozen for sure. The kind of issues that ultimately, stop you from being able to think straight. Like, for example, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and I said, really, you think that everything that Trump says that he's going to do, he's doing? He said, absolutely. I said, what happened to the 90 deals, 90 days? Just tell me how many deals were done there. How many days did we hear? How many months did we hear about 90 deals, 90 days? You had Lutnick coming out, Besson, Smiling Bob, the other idiot that comes rolling out there, Machine Gun Lips Levitt coming out there. We're there 90 deals, 90 days. How many deals ended up getting done? And the answer is none. Zero. And now every day you wake up to like, you remember they used to have those things, those TikTok sort of things where you wake somebody up by dumping a bucket of ice on them while they're sleeping. Not talking about the ice bucket challenge. I'm talking about the other one where they throw a bucket of ice water on you when you're sleeping. That's exactly what's happening here, but it's not filled with water and ice. It's just filled with chaos.
Dude, I feel like it's like, if for those of you that are old enough to remember, there was a movie called Groundhog's Day.
Oh yeah.
And I swear to you, if you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it today, because this is exactly what I feel like every day. Every day I wake up and I feel like, wait a second, I thought this was just, but the only difference, it gets crazier, it gets more insane, more outrageous. And the interesting part is that the one thing that we always talk about, me, Michael, and Malcolm, and say is, don't say he can't do it. Don't say there's guardrails. Don't say that. Because as soon as you start saying he can't do it, he doesn't. Like, it's like, historians, you can't do that to the White House. The East Wing is gone. Like, you know what I'm saying to you?
How many times have you said that? How many times have the three of us turned around and said that do not expect norms to hold? Do not turn around and underestimate Trump's resolve to get what he wants, in his terms, to win. And he's getting there, whether it's the Supreme Court decisions, whether it's knocking down the East Wing without any approvals. I don't even believe, by the way, that they actually have the plans, the construction plans, the architectural drawings for the new big beautiful ballroom. I know they have rendering.
Michael, I'm hearing there's more than just the ballroom. They're redoing also the bowling alley. I don't know if you remember the bowling alley in the White House.
Sure.
They're also fine tuning. There's a whole redone, and the interesting part, the theater. Yeah, the interesting part, what you guys have to understand,
it's gonna be IMAX. It's going to be the greatest sound system that you ever had. You're going to be able to hear it all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue. It's going to be beautiful.
Do you think he's doing all of this for the next guy to use to be able to?
No, not at all.
Sure.
He's not planning.
Look, my late wife, God bless her, worked for ACOM in the Middle East, and she had a $4.5 billion budget on projects that were very similar. I mean, the new presidential palace, the new Sheikh's palace in Abu Dhabi, for example. These things have enormously long lead times. Enormously long lead times. And what he's probably done was a sole source, single, for my buddy contract of $230 million. The thing's probably worth What,
It's
three? 300 now.
Up to 300
Oh,
billion.
don't worry, it'll go to 500. This is just him.
It's probably a donor. It's probably a donor. One of the.
It's a payoff. It's a payoff. But no one can do the architectural anything other than the CAD renderings, which any what we call caddies can do in 30 minutes. But the actual renderings of that building, first off, not one moment of architectural salvage was done to the East Wing. Not one moment. It was wood paneled on two sides. They took a backhoe to this.
By the way, so people turn around and said that there's no way that he's going to touch it. He said that he wasn't going to touch it.
He's a liar.
We are now 2 days into the backhoe being on the site of the White House lawn.
It's gone.
And there is no more East Wing. You know, I often think about, as I watch now the demolition taking place, how long it took to actually build that, and how quickly that he took it down. I also admire the fact.
Just like our democracy. Just like he's no to our democracy.
Minutes.
Exactly.
Well,
It took us
well
250 years to build it to get to a point. And in 9 months, this guy just basically threw a wrecking hammer. And don't forget, Michael, we also have the pleasure of having, and I love how the Fox commentators don't even hide it anymore. We have the Rose Garden Club, which is an extension of Mar-a-Lago. So this one, you know, I mean, they even the umbrellas with the yellow, have the they're like it looks so much like Mar-a-Lago. It feels
well,
like
that was Lara Trump who turned around. It feels like home. Well, let me say this to you, Lara. One, the White House ain't your home. Two, to the president, it ain't your home either. All right. And I love the fact that this ballroom is going to be 3 times the size
of the White
House. People are now saying that it's really not the White House with a ballroom. It's a ballroom with an extension of the White House.
Mm-hmm. But who's can I ask any one of you this question? Like, who's he planning on hosting? Like, because yes, I understand he wants big because he just came from the Middle East. So over there, everything is grandeur, everything is huge, everything is over the top. I know he keeps talking with Putin in Russia. Everything is over the top, everything's grandeur. You know what I'm saying? But they're China, same thing. That like even the military parades, like he couldn't pull off even 10% of, because that's their history. This is why they do it, because they have a history of of how they do things. Who's he gonna invite into this ballroom? Like, I'm just curious. Like, who's gonna why do we need such a huge ballroom? Like, just I'm asking either one of you. I mean,
no,
he plans on hosting a multitude of galas. Now, to those of you that may not be aware, because again, it is exceptionally difficult and troubling to try to keep up with the fire hose of bullshit that comes at us every single day. I want to remind everybody that just a few days ago, Donald hosted a $1 million per plate event at Mar-a-Lago. My question is, I know that there's a handful of these billionaires that keep, but there's only a certain amount of money that you're allowed to give. So if these folks are already maxed out, now what? Are they giving it to a super PAC? Are they giving it to the prepresidential fund? There is no follow through. There is no
oversight.
Transparency.
There you go. That's the key. What Malcolm just said. There's no oversight because
and they don't care. They don't care what we've said this 100 times on this show. They are not governing. The Republican Party doesn't govern. They are ruling now. They are ruling over America. Laws about a commission that's supposed to be preserving the White House, fuck that shit. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to mark that city as Trump City for the rest of American history. To have actual laws that allows them to have a budget to do this or to look over what people are spending, fuck that shit. What do I look like? I really give a fuck. That is the ruling doctrine of this group. They don't give two fucks about what you think or what I think or what the American people think. They are telling you what's going to happen. This bullshit thing he's planning next, the Arc de Trump, in front of the entry to Arlington fucking Cemetery. A guy who dodged the draft 5 times. It's supposed to be 3 times bigger than the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. And that number 3 times is one of these things that's in his head. He's going to put it in the ellipse leading to fucking Arlington Cemetery. At that point, we should go to Civil War.
What makes it more...
Stop them, right, Bridget?
What makes it more obscene, I think, is the best way to describe it, is the fact that right now our government is shut down. Right down, our fellow Americans, Republican, Democrat, Independent alike, are suffering. Our farmers, our ranchers are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Americans, not talking about that Uber class, Americans are suffering when they go to the supermarket, when they go to the big box store. They are suffering. And everybody's feeling it. Everyone's feeling some form of a pinch. So what do? I have an idea. Let's build an Arc de Trump. Well, fuck it. Don't worry. Not going to cost the American taxpayer $1. Bullshit.
But just think about it. I mean, you're talking about American suffering, which is 100%.
Stealing.
And we're talking about the fact that this guy is, building Arc de Trump and all of this, and this is all gross. But let me just rewind for a second and really put in perspective where the fuck we are. And I don't curse that much, but this is, we are killing people in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
Just like literally killing people in the middle of this is 2025 with no repercussion, no oversight. Because the key is oversight. Because what the first thing Donald Trump did is do away with all oversight, and that's why he's able to do all the shit he's doing. Okay, we're doing all of this to cover up for the Epstein files. We literally have a government shutdown that's being more or less covered up, not because of anything, but to cover up for pedophiles, to be able not to put in a Congress, not to get the votes out, cover up for the Epstein files. We have a fucking Pentagon that right now has, if I would call it a stint out of the SNL, it wouldn't do you justice, because you have not one normal, forget normal, you have not one news agency in there, not one independent. You have every right-wing, MAGA opinionated group in the Pentagon that's giving you the information, okay? You have right now, during the shutdown that nobody's even talking about, you got the Grim Reaper, Russell Vaughn, destroying. We're only going to hear about the things that he got rid of and the people that he fired going forward on. But right now, going full force, nobody's even talking about. No oversight. And the interesting part that all of a sudden now we have him coming out and giving sanctions to Russia. And the media is all over it. Everybody's coming out, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. He's not giving weapons to the Ukraine. He's putting sanctions on Russia, again, with no oversight. Because you know what, folks? He got rid of, during Doge and the cuts, and then right now with the Grim Reaper, every single agency that oversees these shadow fleets, these ways of Russia. But you know what he did do? What not one media is talking about, what I wrote about today in my Substack with everybody, he again manipulated a market. Again, today somebody became very rich. Because what happened? Because as soon as he announced sanctions on Russia, sanctions that mean absolutely nothing, nobody's going to enforce, there's no way going around them. Well, you know what happened? Oil prices went up. You know who benefited? Not only the people that were in the know, but also Vladimir Putin obviously benefited because oil prices went up. So everything you're hearing talking is all completed. This is the world we're living in, folks, right now. And this guy is more concerned about building a ball.
So the crazy thing, Lev.
And today, I'm sorry. And today, the biggest thing, and today, just to finish it off, I'm sorry, because there's just so much crazy. Today, We didn't even touch. He pardoned the a crypto king.
Oh yeah, the Chinese crypto
The
guy
Chinese crypto king. So
who
I'm
gave
done
him
with
money.
that. You guys go whatever into what, but this is just insane what we're going through today.
It's the most
And-
corrupt administration in history. Corrupt.
And while all of this is happening, I'm so thankful. I can never tell how many people we have on, Lev. I know yours works better than mine. How many folks do we have with us?
A little
Over
over
1,000 now.
So here's my point. We don't need 1,000. We need 1,000,000 people. We need to build this community so big that legitimately, when we turn around and we say tomorrow, those of you that can, meet us at the Ellipse. Meet us in front of the White
Trump's
House.
arc.
Meet us in front of Mar-a-Lago, wherever it might be. Then we'll have a big enough crowd so that every single time we call something like this, it becomes bigger than even the No Kings. We end up doing the things that we need to do. When Lev, and we laugh a lot on this show, because if we don't laugh, we're going to cry. It's not a joke what's going on at the White House right now with the East Wing and the building of the ballroom. It's not a joke what's going on with the government shutdown. It's not normal what's going on as it relates to healthcare or with the prices of food. It's not normal with ICE going in here in my home city of New York City, where they go ahead and they raid Canal Street.
Yeah,
That's my Substack of the day. Gucci knockoffs trigger homeland panic. All right. Imagine Gucci knockoffs trigger homeland panic. They thought it was the right thing to do because we're going after criminals, a bunch of Senegalese guys who are sitting there selling fake handbags, because every single person, whether it's from Kansas to Idaho to Oklahoma down to Pennsylvania, every single person knows that the shit that's sold on Canal Street, from the Rolexes to the fake Hermes bags to the Louis Vuitton bags, everybody knows that
Any
it's
street
fake.
corner.
They're fucking $20-$30. They're $40 a piece. You know you're not getting an Hermes handbag for $40. You're not getting a Goyard bag for $40. It is the greatest and the most truest form of capitalism. You know you're buying something that's actually a pretty good fake that looks like the real deal for $40 fucking dollars. But no, they need to show up there, masks on, AR fucking 15s wrapped around the chest, sitting there taking some small little fucking guy. And if you notice from the videos, the guys who get thrown onto the floor all the time are always like the littlest folks that are in the crowd. There's a lot of big motherfuckers in New York, bigger than these ICE agents, especially most of these ICE agents now. They're not even properly trained. So what happens? They turn around and some guy takes out his camera. He starts videotaping. Next thing he knows, this big bull Von that probably was a high school wrestler turns around, throws his ass onto the ground. All right. And then turns on, don't move. Don't move. Turn it. Puts his hand behind his back, zip ties him, the whole bit. This is crazy shit. They took a black guy. Threw him on the ground, zip tied him, and they turned around and he said, "What are you doing?" They said, "Where are you from?" He says, "I'm from the Bronx." So he goes, I was born in Kings County Hospital. By coincidence, my dad was chief of ENT there, going back into the 1970s, right? Kings County Hospital. He turns around and he goes, "I was born in Brooklyn, Kings County Hospital, but I live in the Bronx. Get this shit off me." They're like, "Shut your fucking mouth." And he's sitting there and he's like,
no.
I'm neither a criminal. He goes, nor am I an illegal. Why? So he goes, "I wasn't interfering. I'm walking on the street." So he goes, "What the fuck?" And the guy's like, now got the knee on the middle of his back. They're playing WWE here. This is not a joke. And I keep turning around telling everybody, as does Lev and Malcolm, we need your help. I can't tell you how important it is, and I know many of you are trying. You must bring additional people to this platform so that we could continue. We have 1 year left before those midterms. Those midterms don't go the right way. And every day, what are they doing? They're gerrymandering another location to pick up at least one new seat.
Just
So if
did it
you
in
think that
North Carolina.
this isn't going to come back to haunt us, it is.
Yeah.
And that's why we asked you all the time, please help us to grow the platform.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. This is going to go bad at some point. My problem is MAGA does not care that they're doing this to Americans. They don't. And they will lie to themselves. I saw this one guy on CNN go, here, they're not arresting Americans. They're not taking in Americans. They deported 67 of them, right? I mean, including kids who are in chemo, you know? And they go, oh, well, they opted to go with their mother. They had children into court. This is fucking disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And none of us should be tolerating any of this shit. Look, I saw they had the action down on Canal Street. They started getting mobbed. They started getting mobbed by the people who are around there. New Yorkers apparently don't take this shit the way other people will do. And I think they should. I think they should immobilize them. I think they should surround them. And I think they should, make it clear that the community will not allow this bullshit. African-American kids, they don't care if he's African-American. These people have a directive that someday we're going to fucking find out about. And when we find out where they go, U.S. citizenship, and I know it's probably written on a card somewhere, is not a factor in your taking people down. Get numbers. We need to fucking have tribunals when this is over and done with. And every person at ICE, I'm sorry, I'm saying this as a professional. I trained law enforcement. My textbook is used at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. Probably not anymore now, right? Every fucking one of them needs to be fired in the next administration, day one. And then we need to have clearance tribunals. ICE needs to cease to exist. It's the Geheimstaatspolizei, the state secret police now, the Gestapo. And I'm sorry to say it, they act like the fucking Gestapo. They're asking American citizens for papers. For God's sake. They're pretending like they're in the war on fucking terrorism, and they're a bunch of fat fucks. They found out 40% of them can't do 15 fucking push-ups, can't do 23 sit-ups, and definitely can't run a mile and a half in 14 minutes. I'm 64. I can do that shit right now. These fuckers are cosplaying. And now they're going to all be allowed to carry guns for the rest of their lives because they're federal law enforcement officers. Did you know that?
And it's getting worse and worse. I mean, they're not only
this is bad. This is bad at every fucking level. It's bad.
They're not only taking people off the street; they're going into people's homes without warrants, without nothing.
400 fucking people in Chicago. They were fucking rappelling and fast roping out of helicopters, taking black people, African American U.S. citizens, and zip tied 400 of them.
Kids, putting them on the street. And not only that, but if you take a look at what they set up, they literally have a setup. I mean, I've never seen this can't be America in 26 Federal Plaza. Basically, you have a court system, a judicial system that goes out there and is working with regular people that have the paperwork to stay here and trying to do the normal way. They show up there. You see who shows up there? It's families, it's kids, it's people with. I don't see no Tren Aragua. I don't see no MS-13 gang member. But what happens is, while they're showing up to do the right thing, to show up in court when they're supposed to work on their paperwork, to stay legally in this country, all of a sudden you see these masked men, and it's the same group. You watch it on, they're jumping out of these corners in 26 Federal Plaza, and it's like a show. And it's like every single day you get 2-3 people, but you got kids crying, you got women being thrown to the ground, and there's no accountability, zero, because that's the key, zero accountability.
Their number is quite simple. The number is 20 million. That's their number. from Stephen fucking Miller, and I mentioned both of you today this week in my Substack about the man who wants you dead. Both of you agreed that Trump is a pussy. He isn't going to order people directly killed. But Stephen Miller will definitely interpret shit, right? Mafia boss style, and he will have people killed. This is going to get out of control. It's going to get out of control, and people will lose their lives.
And that's because this administration believed that the real menace to America is not the corruption that's going on in DC, not the cartels, not these cyber attacks that are trying to shut down our national grid. You know who it is, Malcolm? You know who it is, Lev? It's the Senegalese street vendor selling imitation luxury to tourists who damn well know that it's fucking fake. So naturally, what do? They roll in like it was D-Day for designer knockoffs. That's what it is.
Oh, Jesus.
It's D-Day for designer knockoffs. It is so absolutely abusive. I mean, these folks, and how did it all happen, by the way? How did it all happen? There was a influencer, a TikTok influencer. What's her name? Savannah something or another.
Oh,
she
shit.
turns around and she says, "What's going on here on Canal Street?" As if all of a sudden this fucking asshole walks onto Canal Street for the first time in her life, and she says, "What's going on here? Why are all these vendors here?" By the way, you don't need Canal Street. It's on
42nd Street.
Broadway. It's on Broadway in the area also down there by Duane and Reed Street and so on and so forth. They're everywhere. So they're on Madison Avenue. They're on Fifth Avenue. They're everywhere. So here's the crazy thing. She goes on and she's like, "Hi, this is Savannah, whatever the fuck her last name is. And I'm over here in Canal Street. Look." And then, oh my God, that man just told me I'm not allowed to video record. Don't tell me what I'm allowed to do.
Is she from New York?
Next thing you know, this doom scrolling ends up getting notified to ICE agents.
That bitch called him herself.
They get a phone call that they're selling these black market goods, that all of these folks are illegal. This could be a great propaganda ad video. Bring ICE here ASAP. And you know what? Crazy shit like that. It happened.
Is next that bitch you know, from? I have one question.
You have 100
guys. Is she from New York City? Is she from New York City?
I don't know where she's from. I think she is.
You know how people should be cheesecaking her every day. All right. I mean, how can her neighbors allow her to exist in this city without the appropriate level of approbation? To remind them that fucking Tennessee is open for them to move to, because this is the most un-New York thing that you could ever do. But this is what happens. We're turning into a racist show country. I just went back and read the Rise and Fall of Nazi Germany again by Shearer. And another one of my favorite books is called In the Garden of the Beast. Yeah, and it's about an American family in Nazi Germany from 1930 to when they took power up until like 36. And really it was 33 when they started this shit with the Roma, the Gypsies, the Jippos as they called them, and the Jews. And they did everything that we're seeing today. And I have these guys on spaces and forums say, well, Stephen Miller's Jewish. He couldn't possibly be doing any of this stuff. This was done in Argentina. It was done in Peru. It was done in Uganda. It was done in fucking Saddam Hussein's Iraq. Dictatorships behave the same all around. And they always attack a victim population. And then you get these influencers, right? Now it's fun to drop dimes on people. There's a woman in Georgia who destroyed $3 billion of investment with her fucking mouth. Hyundai's, these technical experts from Korea are saying, we're never coming back there.
But you know, I brought up the part about the social influencer for a reason, and I want to get Lev's take on this as well. So this social influencer, like a Laura Loomer, who somehow manages to have all the right phone numbers to get shit done. Whoever it was that got this crypto kid, this Chinese kid out of prison and so on. It's not about right and wrong any longer. It's about who you know. It really goes back more to the boss Tweed days, right?
Yes.
Than it is about anything. And
Tammany fucking Hall in the White House.
who actually are curious, watch like Peaky Blinders. You'll get a real great sense of what was going on here, or Gangs of New York, that old movie. But the reason I bring this up, Lev, is because today, Trump backed away from sending federal troops to San Francisco. And you say, why? Why is San Francisco different than Chicago, New York, DC, Portland, et cetera, et cetera? Do you know why? Because a bunch of the tech bros called them up and said, please don't do it. Please, sir, they said to me, please, sir, don't do it. And so I said, okay. And that's how it gets done, right? It's all a matter of who's got the right phone numbers to call.
The largest concentration of South Asian H-1Bs.
I mean, look,
right?
We are, if we ever were in the time where you could use the word pay to play, pay for play, I mean, this is it.
This is the most corrupt time in history.
This is like why this is wide in the open. I mean, let's just for a second about this crypto individual that was pardoned today. I mean, this is an individual that through the company, the exchange, I'm not a crypto guy, but was supporting and helping with one of the coins that involved the world financial, I think, coin.
It was called Binance.
Binance, exactly. So again, this is all it's there's no shock like when people say, oh, why would Trump give him a pardon? Well, because he probably is gonna make billions of dollars off it if he already did. Why did Trump give this one a pardon? Because the guy probably donated to right now 30 million to his ballroom that he's planning on. I mean, why is Qatar all of a sudden going to have a military base inside of Idaho? Well, don't forget the $400 million Qatari jet that he got as a present. I mean, it's all if I just remember how crazy, just think about it. If we just think back 2019, how that famous quote came out. I'll never forget my life. I went to prison for it. I was the first one to give it. Quid pro quo. Remember that Trump did the quid pro quo to Zelensky, that he needs to be impeached, how the whole world was upside down over that. Now it's pay to play. I mean, unless you're coming in with an offer that you're somehow doing it. And the same thing you're seeing play out right now between Russia, bless you, between Russia and Ukraine. You see the same thing. I mean, even listen to the words that are coming out in the Middle East. You got Stephen Witkoff and Jared Kushner sitting there doing a 60-minute interview, and Witkoff can't even control slips it, saying about how Kushner is the investor and how they had all this planned about real estate in the Gaza way before this even peace plan. I mean, it's just like you can't make this shit up like this.
Do you know, by the way, this Cheng Peng Zhao, who is the one that he pardoned, the one
Finance. Yes.
Do you know what his restitution was under the conviction by, believe it or not, Merrick fucking Garland, the guy who did nothing as Attorney General for 4 years? They got the conviction against Zhao. Do you know what the restitution was?
I can't even imagine.
$12 in a six-pack?
$4 billion.
Oh,
right?
real money.
Billion. Do you know
real
what
money.
happens? Do you know what happens to that $4 billion as a result of a pardon? Do you know how much now has to be paid in restitution? That's right. The big donut. Zero. Do you know, as a result of all of these pardons, that this administration has now tack on the $4 billion? I think it's over $8 billion of restitution money that is now forfeited as a direct result. So I don't know how much that this guy Zhang ended up paying to somebody to get to the right person in order to get the pardon that he wanted. But I hope that it's a lot, because that motherfucker just saved $4 billion in terms of restitution money.
You know, half of that shit's going somewhere, at least.
What's his name is going to be next on the list also. I mean, because listen, it's again, this is part of rewriting history. Why? Because before there was a big move against the cryptocurrency during the Biden administration, and prior to, there was a major fight between, you know, the corruption that goes on in the cryptocurrency world, and what it does to the dollar, that it's not going to it wasn't going to be legitimized. They were actually cracking down and going after the corruption in the crypto world. Donald Trump comes in right now. He's made over $4 or $5 billion in the past 6 months in the crypto world. Now he is the crypto president. He is the crypto king. He is all crypto. So now anybody that's been prosecuted during the Biden administration, like probably next to Sam Bankman-Fried, if he still has any money left over, I don't know. You know what I'm saying to you? But these people are going to get pardoned. These people are, because it's going to be part of, again, that changing, rewriting of history, that it was the Biden and the Merrick Garland, the deep state that went after this, and these are not criminals, because these people obviously, you know, benefit Donald Trump and his family.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing too, most people aren't even fully aware as what brought on the investigation into Binance and its CEO, Zhao. And here's what then Attorney General Merrick Garland said in 2023. Alongside of him was Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who turned around and said that Binance willfully failed and allowed money through their crypto exchange, which, by the way, was doing something like what was the number, like 60 billion or $65 billion a day in transactions, that their willful failure allowed money to flow to terrorists, cyber criminals, and child abuser through the platform. That's what it was that got them into trouble in the first place. So
Same with Silk Road.
What's that?
Same with Silk Road. Remember, he pardoned that guy.
Silk Road, and he pardoned him also. What was
Silk
his name?
Road was the largest funder of weapons and drugs on the planet at the time.
His name was Obrecht.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. I read the book as well when I was in Otisville.
Did his mother donate like to his Trump, like
$10 million?
$10 million.
Yeah,
she bought him out.
The name of the book was called Silk Road.
Oh my God!
$65 billion a day is the average that runs through Binance. And here's what they ultimately found out. Again, it was the FBI, it was the DOJ, it was Janet Yellen. This money was being routed by terrorists, criminals, and child sex traffickers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think that our laws definitively need to ensure that they put a stop to. All right.
And this is talk about. We have a president that's protecting child sex traffickers right now by not.
He's protecting. Well,
I don't know what he's protecting. I think we have to be fair about that. We know that something is wrong here.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
The Penguin is the mayor of Gotham right now, and he's letting every fucking criminal that has ever been convicted out. Period. And you know, I hope God hope that we get a new president in 2029 if there's actually an election. And you know what? If it's a governor, if it's a President Newsom, he should just say, we're going to investigate every transaction ever done. And until we do it, I'm going to freeze and seize all of their personal assets. Since presidents are king now, right? Let them fucking chew on it for a while.
Look, I don't really, Again,
It ain't legal unless you're a king. And according to the Supreme Court, it's legal if you do it.
well, that's because the Supreme Court of the United States sort of made it that way. As long as you can couch it as national security, fuck it. Go ahead, knock yourself out. You don't actually have to. I mean, when they turn around and they claim things that what Trump is doing is legal, he's not wrong. They're not wrong when they say what he's doing is illegal. It's immoral. It's absolutely unique and unconventional. But the fact that the Supreme Court gave him this carte blanche, this immunity within which to blow up a fucking boat in the middle of international water under the guise that it's for national security, because he comes up with this scenario that as a result of these drug traffickers, these guys in these 15-foot fucking motorboats with like four 250 Mercury CC engines attached to the back, that, by the way, would take 9 or 10 days if you were traveling anywhere towards even get close to the United States, which they clearly do not, cannot, don't have the fuel capacity. He's blown up because they're killing 300,000 Americans every single year. Now, I want to be clear. That number is not just wrong. It's grossly overstated. And that's not even where the drugs are coming from.
Yeah, he's saying it's fentanyl. Fentanyl, 99% of it comes from China via Mexico.
It doesn't even make. Even Rand Paul came out and said, Rand Paul said, listen, first of all, Venezuela doesn't make fentanyl. Second of all, Rand Paul came out and said, do you understand that 25% of our intelligence is usually wrong? That 25% of the time are people that are not drug smugglers when we go up there. This is their own people. And this is the time. And even Rand Paul said, just like Michael said, that you couldn't even reach the coast of the United States without filling up, God knows. I mean, so the fact that they're, and let's even go a step further. If these are terrorists, like he's saying, then why did we send them back? The two of them that didn't die during the explosion. Because remember, he shot at one of the boats. Two of them survived, and they sent them back. And now one of the guys that was rescued is saying that he was literally a fisherman. Now he's literally saying he's a fisherman.
Well, Michael made a good point a few minutes ago about the fact that all of this stuff, according to the Supreme Court, is legal. I once again call attention to the movie Judgment at Nuremberg, which was the trials, not of the people who carried out executions. It was the trial of the Attorney General and the Supreme Court Justice of Nazi Germany, who made all of the illegal, immoral, and, disgraceful things legal. The person who turned in Anne Frank was obeying the law. Anne Frank was breaking the law by hiding from being deported and sent to her death. So this is a question of morality, not so much legality. You can make any execution legal.
Yeah.
I mean, pass the law.
Absolutely, especially if you're going to claim that's in the benefit of the country and it's for national security. So the last point that I want to touch on, of course, is something that I actually have some personal attachment to. Is you saw that when Trump was a citizen, this was during the Biden administration, he filed 4 notice of claims against the Department of Justice while people can't afford medicine, bread, meat, they can't afford electricity, they can't afford shit. All right? People lost their jobs, they're not getting paid, they're being told they still have to work. He's suing the DOJ for $230 million. Now, I shouldn't say he's suing them. The lawsuit hasn't started yet. There's a notice of claim, and he put in the request for the funds. Okay, here's the problem. He's not wrong. You see, this is Trump's superpower. What he does is he grabs a hold of a small aspect of it and he makes that into the totality. Yeah, he was absolutely targeted by James Comey and Brennan and so on. I wrote about it in my book, Disloyal and Revenge. I write about it. And that Revenge was from 2022. So it clearly was information that's been out there. My point is, what's the actual damage? Number 2, Is it $230 million? That's almost $250 million you're asking taxpayers to pay. And three, the part that's the most offensive is why do it now? Especially when even if they pay you $1, even if they vindicate him, and I believe that people like Brennan will be held accountable and Comey, shit that they did, they were fucking dirty. Here's the crazy part about it. What ultimately happens, he's got to go to the people that he put into the position that used to be his defense counsel to compensate him and to review the case. That's like going to your mom and asking her whether or not you did something that got you detention at school. And she says no.
If Bondi pays him off, this is what this is. It's a payoff, right? If he gets paid off on this, I'm telling you, we should shut the entire fucking nation down. A straight up underhanded $250 million payoff of U.S. taxpayer money into his pocket just because he asked for it. And if she does it, I'm telling you, now you're going to really have to make it very clear that everyone will be held accountable on day one, arrested on day one if there's a change in government. You got to start putting the fear of God into these people. If they think that if she thinks that one day, it's not about investigations. This isn't Hakeem Jeffries fucking letter shit, right? We're talking about now, you just had 7 million to 10 million people hit the streets. They won an election by less than 1.5%. And at some point, unless she thinks she is immune for the rest of her life, she's going to have to think twice about giving him a payoff because she will have been the person who put $250 million into her boss's pocket.
Well, I'm not so sure that it's Pam Bondi.
Yeah, it's Todd Blanche.
It's Todd Blanche and the other guy.
She won't sign off on this?
No.
It's Todd Blanche. And
it doesn't matter. It's her Justice Department. We'll hang it around her neck.
Yeah, but Malcolm, I know Todd Blanche is going to sign off on it. You know, Trump's already said it. I mean,
$250 million payoff.
Yeah. And
that we should shut the entire fucking country down over this. That's the bottom line right there.
And the grift, you know what the grift is? What the lie to the people is that he's going to give it away to charity.
No. He's never given a fucking dollar away in his life.
He's lied. Exactly. Every time he has said that in the past, they've come back and they've fact checked him. He doesn't do it. But
he's a fucking thief. He's a fucking thief.
But even if you know accounting 101, even if he was to give it to charity, because listen to where
he gets $250 million
write-off from all the money, the billions they just made. Thief. So it's like have the taxpayers pay his tax bill basically for him. You know what I'm saying to you? I mean, either way, listen, no matter how you look at the fact, and this is the sick part, guys, the fact that right now, while people there's people in this country that are actually worried about how they're going to spend the holidays. They're worried about their medical conditions and what's happening with their insurance. The government is shut down. This is the second longest shutdown in American history, and there's nothing in sight.
There's no end in sight.
There's no end in sight. You have the Grim Reaper, Russell Vought, in the meantime, behind the scenes, cutting programs, destroying jobs, that we still even don't know the effects of everything that we're going to go feel. And this guy, I mean, he's just doing it out in the open. And this
because he can.
Yeah, but this is what I'm going to say, because we talk about a lot of grim stuff, but there is a solution, and the solution is, and I know it doesn't sound like it's like, oh, and it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, but that solution is what we tell you and we preach every single day, is we need to build our movement. We need to build numbers. We need to get our voices stronger. We need to stop doing these one-time shots, like, for instance, like Malcolm said, yeah, great, October 18th, it was a historical day. We had over 7 million people stood up, signs on the street, unity, Americans standing up to no kings. And then what? That's gone. We don't hear about it. The movement that we should have every day some sort of something happening. Every day there should be people on the lawn talking about how this government is shut down because of the Republicans, not the Democrats. The problem again is the messaging, and we need to, the three of us, we need to take it by the bull by the horns and start now, because there's nobody to wait for.
Yeah,
Because
by the
there
way,
is no
EG's 100% correct. Wake the fuck up, America.
yeah.
There's no other way. EG, I'm with you 100%. Wake the fuck up. Lev has been, Malcolm has been yelling this shit now for years and years. Plain and simple. Lev, do me a favor. Take us out, then I'm going to let Malcolm have the last word.
Oh, no.
Listen, guys. It's hard. It's hard to talk about positivity when we have so much crazy negativity going on in the world. But at the same time, there's a thing called hope. And that thing that we talk about, hope, that hope is based off of, not because it's just a word, it's based of action. The only way we could ever achieve hope, achieve what we're talking about, achieve getting our country back, achieve of saving democracy, is if each and every one of us does something. You can no longer sit back and say somebody else is going to do it. I don't have to do it. I need a pair of those. Those should be the
Rose color.
unleashed. Those should be the unleashed.
No,
unleashed.
no.
I'm going
No. This is the unleashed glass.
These are sniper glasses, Malcolm. I put them on simply for you.
That does actually cut down the glare.
It does. No, those
Amber
are sniper glasses.
All right. So anyway,
folks, it's about time to build. We talk about it every day. We say it, we repeat it. And a bunch of you here, God bless you, because you are here. You are our backbone. We know the names. We see your DMs. We see your support. We see the paid subscribers. We see the fear also and the scaredness of going on. And that is why we're here. We're not here because we're putting on some show. We're not the Kardashians. This is not the reality show. This is not some kind of housewives husbands part 2. This is the real thing, folks. Malcolm's gave his all his life, over 40 years, serving our country. This is an official spy, folks, a person that has been out there in the Middle East, overseas, knows how these things work, knows how the Pentagon is telling you things that you will not hear anywhere in media. Michael Cohen has spent over 10 years, folks, being Donald Trump's right hand lawyer, confidant, fixer, whatever you want to call it. 10 years, folks. 10 years. The guy knows how he breathes and talks.
13
and then myself,
years.
13. I said 13. Thank you. And myself, 4 years. I spent not only being around Donald Trump, but I spent in part of the creation of that mega world of all of the insiders, the enablers that you see out there. So you have 3 people here that literally we are not journalists. We are not pundits. We're not here to give opinions. We're giving you facts. And that is why it's important for all of you here, our family, to be able to become our megaphone and go ahead and spread our message far and wide. When we post this message, spread it to everybody you know. Make sure it's the number one thing before we even get started, everybody. If you haven't subscribed to either one of us, it's very simply go hit that button on top, the gray button. You see all 3 names, and you can right away subscribe to all 3. It's free. We're here because our main mission is to be able to grow this community and give you the message so we could spread far and wide. Those of you that are, blessed enough to be able to be paid subscribers, you are the ones that allow us and make it happen that we can do this. So this way people that can't afford it could get it for free. So we don't have to do these paywalls and play these games to be able to figure out how we could support us being able to fight the fight. So it's a combined effort. So with that, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pass out to Malcolm. But I'm going to say this: each and every one of you could do something. So just don't sit back and say somebody will do it for me, because there is nobody else. This is it. This is the time.
Well, I got one thing to say that I think I'm going to have to take for action. I'm going to have to start putting things aside. I'm writing a new book and a whole bunch of things. I'm dancing back and forth between Canada and the U.S. I think it's time for a new constitutional convention. I mean, in the sense that, like Project 2025, we need to start getting people together in one spot, noteworthy people, influencers, former government people, and we need to write our own version of what the future of America will be. I hear people bitching about this left and right, but I heard John Leguizamo a couple of months say this. We need to have our own version of that. One of the things that right off the bat that I would do is I would offer to rehire everybody who was fired and pay them 4 years back pay as fucking consultants to come back and restore the American government. I would give teachers I would give teachers the same signing bonus as ICE. I would take ICE's entire budget and turn it over to fucking teachers. $50,000 signing bonus, $100,000 salaries, waiving all of their student loans, since the president's going to be king. If we were to put this platform on paper as a group, half this nation, one, we would get the 76 million people who voted against Trump would suddenly solidify. My problem is we don't have fucking CPAC. We don't have all of these conferences that they have. They have billionaires throwing money. I'm fucking disputing $7 dispute. I'm not joking. 2 or 3 times a month, somebody goes, I didn't mean to charge $7 to subscribe to you.
And it costs us $25.
And it costs us $25 to do it. But we're up against billionaires, but we have something they don't. We have originality of thought, and we have dedication to the true mission of what America is. So if you guys are listening right now and somebody says, hey, subscribe for $7, we're not asking you to subscribe to make us fucking rich. It's to get the voice out there. All right? It's to get the voice out. And I swear to God, I'm going to start looking around so that we start actually having a convention somewhere. Maybe we got to hit up Pritzker. Maybe we're going to, call a convention somewhere in the United States, and we get all these fucking influencers and people out there, and we start writing down our version of Project 2025, the real promise to America. And then that way, it isn't just us talking on fucking Substack.
Amen to that. Everybody, thank you all for joining. Lev, Malcolm, myself, for another, let's just say, raw and unfiltered version episode of Unleashed. Nothing more that I could possibly say that these two haven't already said. Thank you for joining us. Please share this with family, share this with friends, share this with neighbors, with colleagues, coworkers, your postman. It doesn't matter. Please share it with everybody. And let's make sure next week and every week thereafter, we keep doubling the size of our audience. With that, I say thank you. And my friends, be well.